All right, so let's go ahead and bring back in Brad now, because Brad, I mean, what are we thinking here? It's a kind of snow.
Yeah, it was kind of cool when she was describing it. I knew exactly what she was talking about. So we got this cool graphic, Jeb. We'll show what it looks like. So snow doesn't take on the typical dendrite, which is the flake that you probably made as a kid cutting out in paper. It's kind of cool. Like usually we get needles or columns when the temperature where the snow is made, and this is happening closer to the ground than normal. It's not happening way up in the cloud. You get columns or needles, and the temperature where she was, 14 degrees. And look at the temperature to get hollow columns, which are basically, if you were to look at it, it looks like glitter. But if you look under a microscope or even a magnifying glass, these snowflakes would be like tiny little rods, if you will. And what happens when they land on the ground, they kind of stack up like pixie sticks or, straw or hay. They kind of lay on each other, so it's very fluffy. And this is because this is forming low in the atmosphere in this cold air near the surface. But where she was, 14 degrees. I mean, like I said, I don't think I've ever seen freezing rain this cold, and the kind of snow we're getting in this kind of cold with warm above is kind of a weird setup. So it makes for a very interesting phenomena. So what's happening, and why aren't we getting snow, right? Like everyone's like, it's so cold outside. Well, it's got to be cold from the cloud all the way to the ground for us to get snow. What's happening here is we have really warm air above our heads. The students and the faculty over at UNC Asheville, the meteorology department, they've launched 3 weather balloons for us today, and I've been able to see the atmospheric profiles. And up around as low as 3,000 feet, the temperature is like 40-something degrees. And that warm layer is melting the snowflakes, and then below it, it's so cold, they're either trying to refreeze into a sleet pellet, or in this case, we saw that weird snow up in Winston-Salem. And in most cases, it's so warm above us and so cold at the surface. It's 40 degrees at 3,000 feet, and at 700 feet, it's 21 degrees. It's creating freezing rain, which is like the perfect setup for ice. If you want an ice storm, this is the perfect setup. I can't remember a setup this unique in quite some time, and that's why the ice is really picking up. And I'm looking at the reports, and we are getting snow reports from Hickory to Statesville to Salisbury, but around Charlotte and Rock Hill, they are both reporting freezing rain currently. So it seems like there is a little bit of snow mixing into the north, which is kind of where we thought we'd see a little snow earlier, but it's actually lasting a little bit longer, maybe because the air is just that cold, Jane.
Oh my goodness. So, where she is 14 degrees, there's no chance that, and it's only, why are we not getting any version of that?
So the cold air up there is a little bit deeper. Okay. So it's that warm layer is not as thick up there.
Oh, okay.
We call this the wedge, and I think sometimes when we say that, you think, well, what does that mean? If you think about a wedge, you ever see like a door stopper, which looks like a ramp? Mm-hmm. Okay, the leading edge of the wedge is like the point. That's really thin part of the cold air. As you get towards the thicker part of the wedge, the cold air is deeper. And the wedge comes from north to south. So we're at the thin part of that wedge. They're in the thick part of the wedge. And so the air is much colder than them up there. And that's why they're getting snow and we're getting ice down here.
So, yeah. So unfortunate for us, I guess,
it's
too.
But I want to say it's warmer. It's 20 degrees here, Jane. At midnight, it's 20 degrees. And when I saw these temperatures a couple of days ago, thinking, how are we going to have 20 degrees and freezing rain? I thought there's no way this will verify. And in some cases, we are trending colder than our forecast at the surface. So this is kind of a weird setup. I said this earlier in the 11 o'clock show. Every storm always surprises me, and I learned something different. And this one is really teaching us some new things tonight.
Yeah, and so now we're seeing the brunt of it, or the beginning.
Yeah.
The beginning of the beginning for several hours now, right?
Yeah, it's going to be a while. I just posted on my social media, like, stay off the roads because things are getting bad really quickly. There's those memes that escalating quickly. Things escalated quickly. This one did, okay?
Yep.
The Will Ferrell ones. It's escalating.
Yeah, it started late, but then sort of it ramped up and made up for lost for a delayed beginning.
Yeah, the delayed beginning, I think, and that's from a social science standpoint, that's always tough because then people think it's not happening. And
Exactly.
then they venture out, and then boom, this happened. The reason it's happened so quickly is the delay slowed it down, but also it was so much colder when this stuff started falling. So there was no chance of it. This isn't wet. The ground is not wet. I had several people say, "Hey, Brad, it's just raining." Trust me, it is not raining when it's 20 degrees outside.
Right.
That is thermodynamically impossible for that to be rain. That is freezing rain. That's the whole point. It is freezing on contact with the ground. So just good old-fashioned rain would have to be above 32 degrees. So we have a classic freezing rain setup right now.
All right, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to wrap things up here for special extended coverage of tracking the ice storm. That is just really the beginning of the beginning. Tomorrow, our weather impact team is going to start with you here on Live Impact News starting at 5 a.m. We have crews all over the Charlotte Metro. They will be checking in with us live. And then, Brad, when are you back in tomorrow?
Probably 3, 4-ish, probably at the same time, mid-afternoon.
Okay, mid-afternoon.
It's really going to probably play by ear, Jane, to see, because it probably is going to be a long trek to get back in here tomorrow.
Right, seriously. So we're going to keep you updated with this whole impact of this ice storm that is really going to be a shock to the system, literally and figuratively, to the Charlotte Metro and our all of our counties, our viewing area. If you do have, and if it's safe to do so, if you have pictures or videos, send it to us using the Near Me feature on this app that we thank you for downloading to your smart TV as well as your mobile devices in case you do lose power. And we just want you to stay safe. We don't want to put any panic or fear for your weekend, but things are going to be a little sketchy, touch and go. And with the information, just leave you with some good information and education through Monday as we stay weather impact alert. We thank you for staying with us and trusting us with your coverage of this ice storm. Take care of each other. Have a good night.